I'll start recording. Hey everybody, welcome to our first webinar. This is Get Shit Done with HR from ConsciousHR. And we are so excited to have y'all. We're going to talk about all things HR today and really get into why this is important, especially for all of our small business friends. So welcome. We are so excited to have y'all here today. And just real quick, we wanted to let you know how you can stay up to date with us. You can see all of the product updates that we have. You can connect with all of our amazing HR pros and follow us on socials. Next, we just want to take a moment to introduce you to the small but mighty team. And all of our amazing HR pros that are going to be working with you and your team as you navigate all of the different aspects of your HR journey. Lindsay, I'm turning it over to you first.
Thanks, Carrie. Yeah, small and extremely mighty. I am so proud of this team for everything that we've been able to bring to the market in a very short period of time. And I look forward to meeting all of you that would like to come and work with us in any capacity. Conscious HR was really born out of the need to fill the needs of small business after seeing for so many years that those needs were not being met. And we are very excited to bring you all different levels of HR support and business support, really, at the end of the day. We're HR people. That's what we do. We know HR, but there's such a idea or feeling around the words HR that really we want to bring forth the impression that HR really is about your business and about being successful and profitable as a leader, as an owner of a small business. And a lot of HR help is just really based towards larger companies, and they don't technically understand or typically understand what types of things small businesses are dealing with day in and day out. So we are very excited to bring you our first official webinar and look forward to helping you all out with myself as the founder and CEO and the rest of my amazing team here. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Faith. I am the HR success partner, and basically my job is connecting with small business owners and leaders and just kind of giving an overview of what we can offer for them. So I'm like the matchmaker, the magical HR matchmaker. Just as a personal note, you will hear me mention cats like a weird amount of times. Like not normal, you know. I love my 3 cats. And before I came here, I was a recruiter. So you will also hear me sometimes put my recruiting hat on when I'm talking to you about what we can offer. So that gives you a little bit of an overview of me. So Despina.
Thank you, Faith. Hi, everyone. My name is Despina Padulo. I am the Human Resources Business Partner for Conscious HR, and I will be partnering with you in the future to get through and tackle any human resources issues that come up with your team. I have a background of over 12 years of experience working in various industries, very much a generalist per se. I feel like I'm not necessarily a favor of one facet of HR, but more so I love all of the different the different nooks and crannies of HR, if you will. So I look forward to working with you.
The Thomas English muffin of HR.
I love that. Those are delicious, by the way, and they have gluten-free now. So, hi everybody. Like I said, I'm Carrie, and I kind of have myself in all things eyes open. Formerly, will be in there kind of coaching and helping to direct kind of all your amazing conversation and questions. And we'll dive into more about what Eyes Open is and how it can support you as we move forward. My background is in coaching, leadership development, as well as hospitality and health and wellness space. So I've done a little bit of everything, and I will help make sure that we get you to the right person for the right situation so that we can get you moving forward to meet all of those business goals that you might have. So as we get into kind of the meat of this webinar, we really wanted to make sure that this is impactful and that you understand what HR really is and how it impacts the longevity and the performance of your organization. So HR is kind of like a Swiss Army knife. It does all the things. There's not one thing that HR doesn't impact within a workplace. And a couple examples that you might think of, or maybe you don't, and you need some help kind of sussing that out, are things like employee engagement, performance, being able to provide really robust training and development opportunities for your employees, understanding and developing leadership, helping to provide education and kind of feeding back into the team so that it's nice and strong, as well as employee well-being, kind of known greater as health and wellness. And this really helps all of your organization kind of run smoothly. And it also steps in when things are not running smoothly so that we can get you back on that path as quickly as possible. Lindsay, do you have anything to add?
I always have something to add. That's what
Go for it.
I'm trying to remain as quiet as possible. The only thing I'll add to this is these topics are the ones that you generally hear that are HR topics, right? But the part that's not talked about a whole lot is how this makes a actual difference to the success and performance of your business. It is about having a healthy team, and it is about having happy employees. But the next part of that puzzle is making sure that your happy employees are contributing to the success and the profitability of your business. And when I say profitability, it doesn't mean you have to be a for-profit business. If you're a not-for-profit, you still want to be up in revenue, right? So that you can reinvest back into that organization. So when we talk profit, it doesn't always mean for profit. It means that you are successful, that you're making money, that your revenue is up, that your bottom line is where you want it to be and staying there.
Yeah, that's amazing, Lindsay. And I think it just highlights the greater impact of HR. And especially in the companies that want to do good and they want to be able to do good for a really long time.
Yeah.
So a little bit about the impact of HR. Something I find really interesting is that something as I think often what we think of as every day, just as choosing the right candidate, right, is so impactful. And Gallup actually tells us that as high as 82% of the time, we are not choosing the right talent for the position that we're filling. And that impacts every single thing from the top to bottom within your organization. And if just that one decision makes that big of an impact, what else is HR impacting, right? And the great thing about Conscious HR and our products is that they're designed to help you understand the impact of the decisions you make, understand the longevity of that, and to help you pivot and to plan so that that impact is actually moving with you and working for you, as opposed to being something that you may have to go back and correct later. Gallup actually said that as of last year, the top 3 reasons that individuals were leaving organization were all things that are very in our control, but sometimes we maybe we don't know how to navigate those, or maybe we're still exploring how to build out those teams. But the top 3 things were poor or lack of engagement and culture within an organization. I think all of us really enjoy our coworkers for the most part, even if we're just a team of 2. We like to hang out, right? We like to have some way to connect. Humans are connect to people in general. They also said that poor well-being and work-life balance have a huge impact on why individuals exit an organization, especially as we move into a world where so much work is either remote or hybrid. We can see this shift in what organizations should be providing as younger generations come into the workforce, and they are really looking for something very different than the traditional models that we've seen in the decades past. And lastly, non-competitive wages. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in here too and mention the fact that these bullets are often things that, especially in small business, leaders think are not applicable to them or maybe aren't achievable to them, just because there's a general understanding or misunderstanding, I should say, that there's a lack of resources available. And then if you can even get the resources, what's the point, or why do we need it? And what we're here to provide is either the link to those resources, the advice that you can build yourself up where you can qualify for those resources, or explain really creative ways that you can do this within your scope, not necessarily within the large scope of employee benefits packages, or maybe you don't need a giant health and wellness plan, but maybe you need to be able to support your employees to keep them around so they're not leaving you. And we can help you through those types of conversations without having to default to go sign yourself up for a giant wellness plan if it's not something you truly need right now.
Yeah, and honestly, like that leads right into the last one, the non-competitive pay and benefits. That doesn't mean that every single employee is looking for a six-figure role with, 5 weeks of paid vacation and unlimited sick time. That means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And one of the things that our really well-rounded team can provide is helping you to zoom in and to see what does that actually mean for you, your organization, and your organization is planning. Something interesting, this is not necessarily recent data, it's over a decade old, but the needle has barely moved. And so Gallup actually hasn't published any additional data that I know of yet. But as few as 30% of US workers are actually engaged in their work. That means that at least 70% of everybody who's employed are completely unengaged. Globally, that number drops to 12%. If we think about that in terms of how that impacts productivity and profits, that impact is huge, right? So it's almost limitless, the impact that has. And so one of the things that we can really help you do is address all of these different components of how your organization is operating, and to help you address these so that these numbers look vastly different for your organization than they compare to nationally and internationally. So what's the result? Say we do nothing, right?
She looks
That's always one of
frustrated.
she does look frustrated. And if I had all of those things and my employees were just phasing out at a rapid amount and only 30% of my workforce was engaged, I would be extremely frustrated as well. We know that high turnover and poor retention come with all of this, right? It's kind of a given. There are some other things that you may not be aware of that can be impactful long term, and are definitely things that are totally within the scope of this team to help you kind of, again, zoom into and address as on an as needed basis for your particular organization. And just a few of those things are things like financial penalties, damaged reputation, and then, of course, operational disruption, which can absolutely devastate a business. Lindsay, anything to add to that?
I do. Obviously, financial penalties is something that we tend to talk about as far as, fines and penalties can be related to different compliance requirements and regulatory requirements. That's kind of a given. And, we will talk about the level of risk that might lead to that penalty. We also talk about operational disruption because that's what immediately impacts you as the business leader, right? It's like you have somebody leaving, you have to retrain them. Now you're down that labor in the meantime, and you have to refill that position, or maybe you don't. That's the immediate thing that you're going to feel, is that operational disruption. What's not talked about or even experienced nearly as much is this damaged reputation piece. And this in particular is very, very, very important for small business. Often you are, known in the public. You are in a community. People know you. They've been working with you. They've been buying from you. They've been partnering with you for some time. And you might have been around for a long time, had these employees for a very long time. They're known in the community as well. So this damaged reputation piece is the part that doesn't often get connected as a large concern with HR. And it has a lot to do with employer branding. It has also a lot to do with keeping your employees happy and giving those kind of guidelines so that you can consistently deal with them. But the last thing that you want is somebody to leave, it to be a really terrible situation. And now it's not just an employee issue, now it's a profit issue, and it is a reputation issue. You don't often make the connection that there is that that unfortunate result when you do have an employee issue. So in addition to managing that situation with you and kind of walking you through how to avoid those things proactively and how to react to them appropriately, we also partner with a small business PR firm that can kind of help you from that end too, as well as our legal partners. So there is a lot of work that can be done in that area. And I think it's something that needs to be talked about a little more, because often it's not even recognized or talked about until it's a problem for you. And it's a very, very big problem.
Yeah, that's very powerful. And I think having such a supportive network to help you resolve those issues and get ahead of them in many cases, um, it's worth its weight in gold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, say you come work with us, you want to hang out with us, you want to learn from us, help us to help you as you navigate all of these different areas. What is it that we can really provide and help you to shape and set yourself up for with a really strong HR presence? Um, the big one, I think everybody appreciates, is just lower employee turnover. We can help you keep the people that you have worked really hard to bring into your organization. You put a lot of time and effort into helping them to be knowledgeable, to connect with your customer base, whatever that looks like, and to help you keep those individuals longer by just making sure that everything is running very healthily. The typical employee turnover costs between 50 and 200% of their salary rate if you have to replace them. So even just keeping someone for a few years can save you quite a lot. And we know that that's very important to our small business folks. And then also just higher employee morale and engagement. That directly relates to what kind of yield your folks are going to have. And we know that really quality, high productivity is going to drive profits. And ultimately, we're all here to be in a business. That's literally why this exists. And so we want to be in that space, and we want to make sure that you're thriving and that your business is thriving. So why does employee engagement really matter? What is the research saying around these areas, and why might it be important then to have a community and a system around you that helps you to benefit from all these things? So Gallup, y'all know I love my Gallup polls. They actually showed a connection between 11 areas and employee engagement. And what they found is that this really is impactful because it helps us to navigate things like turnover, customer loyalty and engagement. Again, like Lindsay was saying, this is something that isn't often talked about. We talk a lot about what's internal, right? What's employee facing, but sometimes we can kind of forget the external facing stuff. What is client facing? And we don't want you just to have customers. We want you to have loyal customers. And one way that you can do that is by having employees that breathe this sense of loyalty and engagement. Also, again, profitability, safety incidents. So we want to keep everybody healthy and happy. That also reduces costs of employers. Productivity, shrinkage or theft, absenteeism. Again, how many of these different things does that in itself impact? Patient safety incidents, quality or defects, organizational citizenship, and then finally well-being. So all that to say that HR matters, and it really matters. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of money, and it helps you to get the things done within your organization that matter to you and the reason that you got into the space that you're in. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Despina to talk a little bit about whether or not this is the right fit for you.
Hi, everyone. So of course, the big question is, do I qualify? We'd like to think that almost every business, if not every single business, could benefit from some sort of human resource or specifically conscious HR level support. Not only could we be your HR department, but we could also be a boost to your existing HR department, especially those lonely department of ones. While your intent is to hire someone to help out the business, usually one brain isn't always the expert. So it's nice to have a team or support behind to bounce ideas off of, kind of ask those questions. Hey, have you run into this before? I certainly have not run into everything myself, but among the four of us and then the network we have, I would be hard pressed to say we haven't seen a lot of crazy things and found the solutions to get through them. So the answer is yes, you qualify, and we'd love to work with you.
I think we have all, as HR practitioners, been in the position at least once where we were the HR department of one, whether we were the HR person or we were the leader wearing the HR hat. So it is so nice to be able to have that immediate network to bounce things off of or say, like, I'm about to make this really weird decision. Is this the right one? We love to step in on those plans too. And it gives a little bit of that, like, you can commiserate a little bit with another HR person. So even if you're not the business leader and you are the HR person within the organization, like Despina said, it's just so nice to be able to like relate to another HR person.
One of the topics that we're sure most businesses at some point run into is classification of employees, specifically 1099 contractors versus W-2 employees. So Carrie has so nicely laid out a beautiful slide of the differences between the two. The general rule of thumb is 1099 contractors are generally hired for some sort of specific project or task, whereas W-2 employees are hired to fill an ongoing need. With that being said, if that still doesn't answer your question of the differences between the two, I'd like to think of W-2 employees, the employer has more control over their equipment, their schedule, their scope of work. Whereas if you're hiring a contractor, you're kind of hiring them as the expert and they go on their merry way and deliver you a beautiful product with a nice bow on top. So of course, you can get into the nitty-gritty details. I mentioned the equipment, the work schedule, sometimes the work location. And then of course, 1099 contractors are paid for their work. Whereas W-2 employees obviously will receive a W-2 at the end of the year, but that meaning that the contractors also do not have access to benefits or legal protections that most employees in most states have. So that's another important piece to keep in mind.
We see so many small businesses, very small businesses that have only 1099 contractors. And the vast majority of the time, they're not truly 1099 contractors because they are there for kind of the long-term project. So we see a lot of these situations and tell you like when it makes sense to make that jump. And again, that risk that you're running if they are classified improperly. And this topic specifically has been a major focus of the presidential administration, both of them actually, for the last 8 years. So this is not something that goes away. As a matter of fact, there's a closer microscope on it as we move forward. Without getting too political about it, it is a political topic. It's driven by each administration and the focus on it, and the penalties that are associated with that misclassification continue to go up. There's also different groups and units within our state governments that are specifically out there looking for these misclassifications as well. So like Desmina said, it does vary state to state. This is something that we'd love to give you advice on and kind of put you on the right path towards converting your 1099s into W-2s or affirming that, yes, this is short-term projects, they truly qualify, and you're not quite at the point where you need them yet. So big topic that we see come up a ton with our small businesses and in the process of determining how you want to scale and how you want to grow.
So all that kind of comes together and says like, okay, I fit one of these boxes somewhere, right? You thought, oh, that's me at some point during this presentation. And this is how we can help. We have a brand new product called Eyes Open. And it is built and designed to offer you supportive real-time engagement, problem solving, resources, and so much more so that you can navigate all the things we've talked about in this presentation and more. A couple of things to know is our support is live human beings, all of us, and we endeavor to have an initial response to you in as little as 4 hours or less. And a full resolution to your inquiries in 24 to 48 hours. So we really want to make sure that you're cared for and that your team is cared for so that you can do all of the amazing things that your organization needs you to do. We also want to support you in that long-term growth and the opportunity to have that longevity that we spoke about earlier through free continuing education every single month. So as a member, you can come in and learn something that is going to be relevant to your organization every month, and you can help that to kind of steer your organization. We also have a strong belief that community is the way that we build that longevity. And so we provide that to you. We help you understand whatever the needs and relevancy there is in that community tied back to your industry. And the best part is that we're not AI. We're real people helping real people problems. And so we're here to really help you to navigate all things HR, even things that you don't know are HR. And that's one of the things we're here to help you do, is to just navigate that and really map out what is it that you even need help with. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Faith to kind of tell you a little bit about how you can work with us.
Yeah, so right now we have some introductory offers since we're new and we want to bring you all in and welcome you in with big open arms. So we have a new client offer, which is 50% off for 3 months with eyes open. And then we have the $500 off the annual. So if you pay for the annual subscription, you get the $500. Pretty straightforward. But other than that, I just want to encourage you to get in touch with me directly. You can also use the QR code if you would like to redeem the offers, but you can also get in touch with me directly. I don't have my phone number readily available. I was supposed to do that, and Gary is going to yell at me, but I don't have my number ready.
Never.
But I do have my email. It's faith@conscioushr.co. So feel free to email me. I will probably figure out a way to insert my phone number somewhere. Me and Carrie can figure it out. That's what I was trying to do on my phone. But yeah, I encourage you to get in touch with me directly, and I can help you figure out what would be the best for you, and we can figure out what offer would be best for you. So I look forward to meeting you all.
Thanks, Faith. Yeah, you can email faith@ConsciousHR. You can also email hello@ConsciousHR if that's easier for you to remember. Or, go on our website, follow us on Instagram. It's one of the 4 of us that are answering those messages. It's not some other service. So we are dedicated to that personal collaboration and communication. So you'll get one of us, and Faith offers a little bit of an HR review as well. So you're always going to get some value out of a conversation with us. We want to help, and we want to help small business. So we'll do that at any level possible. So that being said, we would love to see you in Eyes Open. We are so excited to kick off this community. We already have a handful of people that are in there and going to start having really great conversations. So we look forward to next month's webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Faith. We are so excited, like Lindsay said, to welcome you into the Eyes Open community. You'll see all of our faces and hear all of our voices again. We hope that you will pencil us in and make it to our next presentation next month. Stay tuned and check us out on socials to see what our next topic will be, and to stay up to date on all things Conscious HR. If there is anything that we can help you with, you can reach us at hello@conscioushr.co. And the QR code below is going to help you connect with these amazing introductory offers. It was a pleasure to speak with you guys today. We are so excited to meet you all in our brand new community. And until next time, thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone.